Welcome back to the deep dive. Now, if you were with us last time, you'll remember that incredible story we shared.
Oh, yeah. Reversing 15 years of chronic disease, type 2 diabetes, specifically in just, what was it, 90 days.
Exactly. From 17 medications down to zero. Just, mind-blowing transformation purely through lifestyle.
And the reaction, wow, it really hit home. It just confirmed. People are really looking for a roadmap, right? Not just how to manage things.
Definitely. The last deep dive showed it could be done, but the big question we got over and over from you, the listeners, was crystal clear.
How, right? How exactly did this happen? What's the actual blueprint? The system.
And that, my friend, is precisely why we're here today. We are going to unpack the entire framework that made it happen.
We call it the health square. And honestly, it might be the only blueprint you really need to get back in control of your metabolic health.
But before we get into the square itself, we need to really nail down this core belief, this foundational idea that kind of runs through everything we looked at. That you, the individual listening right now, you have something like 75% to 90% control over whether you develop or reverse chronic disease.
That number.
Mm.
It's huge. It's revolutionary, really, because it shifts everything, doesn't it? The power isn't where we usually think it is.
Exactly. We're sort of conditioned to think control lies outside us. We hand it over to doctors, to pills.
So the whole sickness management system. But the sources we looked at, they really stress who doesn't have that 75–90% control.
Right. It's not your doctor, who's often stuck just treating symptoms based on protocols.
It's not the medications themselves, which, let's be honest, usually just mask the underlying issue.
And it's definitely not your insurance company. The real power, it's in your day-to-day choices, your lifestyle.
And the health square. It's
Right.
just the structure, the tool to help you grab that control back, that 75–90%.
And the structure itself is, well, it's elegant, isn't it? A perfect square.
Visually, practically,
Yes.
4 equal sides, 4
Yeah.
pillars. They all have to be there working together.
What are they again?
Nutrition, mental health, sleep, and exercise. Miss one. The whole thing kind of crumbles.
Okay, so today's plan. First, really hammer home why we get sick in the first place, according to this model. The shocking truth, as they call it.
And then we dedicate serious time to each pillar. Really break them down.
Now, if you're just joining us, you're stepping into a community here. We call it Healing Stories. It's folks who are just refusing to accept being sick forever.
Yeah, and our whole mission is getting this information out there. So please, if you find this valuable,
Subscribe, like this deep dive, share it with someone. Seriously, this stuff can save lives, and you clicking that button helps get it to people who really need it.
absolutely. Okay, let's get into it.
Okay, let's tackle that core statistic head on, because honestly, it's the most challenging piece of this whole thing.
75–90% one.
Yeah, the claim that 75% to 90% of all chronic diseases are caused by, well, us. Our lifestyle, not genetics, not bad luck.
It feels like a massive indictment, doesn't it, of how we live today?
It does. But the research behind it, it seems pretty solid. We're always taught to fear our genes, right?
It's like their destiny. But mostly, they're just predispositions. Like, they might load the gun.
The lifestyle pulls the trigger.
Exactly. What you eat, how much you move, your stress levels, those are the environmental factors.
Yeah.
And the sources are really clear. Most of these conditions aren't just preventable.
They're reversible. That's the kicker. Reversible through changing those inputs.
And we're not talking about super rare stuff here. The list is, well, it covers almost everything we worry about.
Yeah, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, obesity, the usual suspects.
But then it goes further. Chronic inflammation, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver disease.
And what really got me was the inclusion of autoimmune conditions. Things like Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, even lupus, and certain cancers.
Right. And think about the implications of that. If conditions like Hashimoto's, which we're usually told need lifelong medication, can be influenced that much 75–90% by lifestyle,
Then how we practice medicine should fundamentally change, shouldn't it?
it has to. If most of the cause is lifestyle, then the real medicine is helping people change that lifestyle, not just managing the symptoms after the fact.
Which brings us right to that critique of the mainstream approach. Just treating symptoms. Can you walk us through that slippery slope story again? It illustrates the problem so well.
Yeah, it usually starts simply enough. Someone gets flagged for high blood sugar.
Okay.
The doctor, working within the standard model, prescribes metformin. It helps manage the number, sure. It reduces glucose production, improves sensitivity a bit.
But the root cause?
Exactly. The constant stream of sugary, processed foods, the inflammation, that's usually untouched.
Yeah.
So the body keeps deteriorating underneath.
So metformin stops being enough, or the damage continues elsewhere.
Right. So next, maybe the doctor adds insulin. Just force the glucose into the cells. But the metabolic chaos continues. Often there's weight gain, more inflammation stressing the arteries.
Leading to high blood pressure?
Yep. So add a blood pressure pill. Then, because of the inflammation and maybe poor liver function, the cholesterol numbers look bad.
So add a statin?
Add a statin, and you see how it goes. Each pill is like a patch on a different leak, but the pipes are still corroding underneath.
And before you know it, you're the person in the story on 5, 10, 17 different medications. Each one may be managing a symptom or even counteracting a side effect of another pill.
While the actual engine of the disease, as the source put it, just festers and grows underneath, the pills are just Band-Aids.
Okay, so if we want real healing, we need to stop patching leaks and fix the engine. Shut it down.
Precisely. And that means identifying the root causes. According to this model, there were two primary ones hiding beneath almost all those chronic conditions we listed.
Two main culprits behind everything from diabetes to lupus. That sounds ambitious.
It does, but the functional medicine research cited really points this way. The two root causes are, number one, insulin resistance.
Yep.
Number two, intestinal permeability, or what most people call leaky gut.
All right, let's define those properly. Insulin resistance, that's not just a diabetes thing, right? It's broader.
Oh, much broader. Think of insulin like a key. It's supposed to unlock your cells so glucose, sugar from food, can get in and provide energy.
Makes sense.
But if you're constantly flooding your system with sugar and processed carbs, your cells get annoyed by that key. Constantly banging on the door, they start ignoring it, they board up the infant.
That's insulin resistance. The cells aren't responding.
Exactly. So the glucose stays stuck in your bloodstream, high blood sugar. Your pancreas panics, pumps out even more insulin, making things worse. And this chaos leads to inflammation, weight gain, especially around the middle, fatty liver, eventually full-blown diabetes. It's driving so much modern disease.
Okay, that connects clearly to metabolic problems. But leaky gut. How does intestinal permeability cause, say, joint pain in rheumatoid arthritis, or even affect blood pressure?
Right, leaky gut is about the lining of your intestines.
Oh.
Normally, it's like a super tight security checkpoint. Only fully digested nutrients get through into your bloodstream. But things like processed foods, environmental toxins, chronic stress, they can damage the tight junctions, the seals between the gut lining cells. They start to loosen up, become leaky.
And when that barrier breaks down?
Stuff gets through that shouldn't. Undigested food particles, toxins, bacterial fragments, they leak into the bloodstream. Your immune system sees these as foreign invaders, like a virus or a bacteria.
And it attacks.
It launches a massive immune response. But because the invasion is low level and constant, you end up with chronic body-wide inflammation.
Ah, okay, so where that inflammation settles determines the disease.
Pretty much if it targets the joints, rheumatoid arthritis, the thyroid, Hashimoto's,
Yeah.
the blood vessels, cardiovascular disease, it's the second major engine of chronic illness.
So insulin resistance and leaky gut, those are the targets.
Those are the targets. And the Health Square is designed to hit both of them hard, using all four pillars at once.
Okay, so the health square is the strategy. And the first, biggest piece of that strategy, accounting for maybe 25–30% of your health, is nutrition. The core idea here is simple but profound. Food is material truth.
It really is. It's basic biology we kind of forget. What you eat isn't just a saying, it's literally true. Your body is constantly rebuilding itself.
Constantly.
Oh, yeah. Think about your gut lining. The whole thing replaces itself every 5 to 7 days. Brand new lining every week.
Wow. So what you ate last week literally forms the barrier inside you this week.
Precisely. Your skin cells turn over every 2 or 3 weeks. Even your bones are constantly being remodeled, broken down, and rebuilt. Over years, it's a non-stop construction project.
And the only building materials available are the ones you swallow.
That's it. So if you give your construction crew high-quality materials, whole foods, nutrients, good fats, you build a strong, resilient structure.
But if you give them junk, processed stuff, sugar, weird chemical,
You're literally building weakness and inflammation into your body's fabric. It's unavoidable.
which leads to that stark conclusion. Food is either medicine actively healing you or it's poison actively harming you. There's no neutral beer.
None at all. Every single bite pushes you one way or the other.
And the personal story we discussed really highlighted how someone could unknowingly poison themselves for 15 years with a standard diet.
The standard American diet, or Western diet,
Hmm.
it's practically designed to create insulin resistance and chronic inflammation.
Let's break down some of those specific poisons people might not even realize are hurting them. That breakfast example.
Cereal, milk, juice. Right off the bat, it's a massive sugar load. Blood glucose spikes, insulin spikes, instant metabolic stress,
And lunch, often fast food.
which means refined white flour, processed cheese maybe, and critically, those industrial seed oils. We really need to talk about those.
Canola, soy, corn, vegetable oil, they're everywhere.
And they're terrible for us. Highly processed, unstable, loaded with omega-6 fats that directly fuel inflammation. They also damage that gut lining, making leaky gut worse.
Then dinner pasta, pizza, snacks, chips, cookies, candy. It's just a constant barrage day after day.
For years, that consistency is what drives insulin resistance until the system just breaks. But the flip side, the good news, is how fast the body responds when you stop the assault.
Right, when the poison was removed and actual food was introduced, the changes were rapid.
Amazingly rapid. Within just 2 weeks, those chronic digestive problems started clearing up.
The bloating, the reflux, the IBS.
Gone. Starting to fade significantly.
Yeah.
That's the leaky gut beginning to heal, the inflammation dialing down almost immediately.
And then by week 4, the effects went beyond the gut.
Yeah, energy levels started climbing. That constant brain fog. It began to lift. And those afternoon energy crashes, you know the ones, they just disappeared. That's a clear sign blood sugar and insulin are starting to regulate better.
And fast forward to day 90.
It wasn't just feeling better, it was measurable, cellular change. Yes, weight loss, but the blood work told the real story. A1C normalized, triglycerides plummeted, inflammatory markers went down. The body had literally rebuilt itself with better materials.
And the guiding principle for choosing those materials, it was incredibly simple.
It has to be simple to stick with it. The rule was basically, if it comes in a box or a bag with a long list of ingredients you can't pronounce, probably poison, put it back.
And if it grew in the ground, hung on a tree, or walked the earth.
That's medicine. Eat it. The quick filter is, would your great-grandmother recognize this as food? If not, it's probably modern processed chemistry, not nourishment.
Okay, so nutrition is powerful, fundamental. But here's the critical turn. It's only 25–30% of the picture.
Exactly. This is crucial. Nutrition is the foundation, but it's not enough on its own.
You can't out-eat the other problems.
You absolutely cannot out-eat chronic stress, terrible sleep, or being completely sedentary. Trying to do so is why so many people fail. You need the other 3 pillars to hold the structure up. Which brings us to the next one, mental health.
All right, so if you've cleaned up your diet but things still aren't right, why? This takes us to pillar 2, mental health. Another huge chunk, 20–25% of your health. And the source material doesn't just say mind and body are connected.
It says they're essentially the same thing.
Which is a radical idea for many people.
It is, but it's vital for healing. We have to break down that old artificial wall. Your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, they generate real physical chemistry. Hormones, neurotransmitters.
And the sources list things we usually think of as purely psychological chronic stress. Old trauma, depression, anxiety, even toxic relationships or lacking purpose.
As direct physical causes of illness.
Okay, let's get into the how. How does something like, say, unresolved grief or a terrible job actually make you physically sick?
The cortisol pathway. Right, exactly. Cortisol is our main stress hormone. When your brain perceives a threat, could be a deadline, a fight, financial worry, doesn't matter, it signals your adrenal glands to pump out cortisol.
And in the short term, that's helpful, fight or flight.
Yeah, for an immediate crisis, it's essential. It gives you quick energy, raises blood sugar, dials down non-essential functions like digestion. Problem is,
Our threats aren't usually short-term lions anymore, they're chronic worries.
precisely, we live in a state of chronic stress. So cortisol stays high day in, day out. And sustained high cortisol does 2 terrible things. It keeps blood sugar elevated, driving insulin resistance.
Okay.
And maybe even more importantly, it directly triggers the release of inflammatory chemical cytokines throughout your entire body.
Whoa, so your stress is literally bathing your cells in inflammation.
It's a direct biological line.
Yeah.
Chronic stress, high cortisol, chronic inflammation, chronic disease. It's that clear. So if you're stressed out 24/7, even the most perfect diet can't fully counteract that constant internal inflammatory fire.
And the personal story really hammered home that vicious cycle.
Oh, yeah. The stress from work, money, relationships.
Yeah.
And then the illness itself becomes the biggest stressor. The heart attack, the diabetes diagnosis, it just piles on.
Making the illness worse, which causes more stress.
It's a brutal downward spiral.
Yeah.
The person literally felt they were poisoning themselves with their own thoughts.
So healing this required looking at mental wellness from multiple angles, right? Not just relax more.
Definitely not. It was a deep dive into 4 interconnected areas. First, emotions. Are you actually feeling and processing them or just stuffing them down, numbing out?
Second.
Spirit. Not necessarily religious, but do you have a sense of meaning?
Hmm.
Purpose. Feeling empty or lost is a major stressor itself.
Third was relationships.
Yeah. Are the people around you supportive, energizing, or are they draining you, constantly triggering that stress response? Toxic relationships are like a slow cortisol drip.
And finally, self-talk.
How do you talk to yourself inside your own head? Are you your own best friend or your harshest critic? That internal dialogue profoundly impacts your stress levels and mood.
Tackling all 4. That sounds like hard work. Uncomfortable work, as you put it.
It is. It often means facing old traumas, looking at parts of yourself you've avoided. But the techniques used were practical and consistent.
Like what specifically?
Daily meditation was key. Starting small, just 10 minutes, building up to 20. Not about emptying the mind, but just observing thoughts without getting swept away.
And journaling.
Huge. Getting those swirling thoughts and feelings out of your head and onto paper, it makes them less overwhelming, more objective. You can actually look at them.
Were there external actions too?
Yes. Working with a therapist was crucial for processing deeper stuff safely and making those really tough calls, like cutting off toxic relationships that were actively harmful.
And finding purpose.
Finding purpose in the struggle itself, realizing that sharing the story, helping others, that became a powerful motivator and source of meaning.
And the result of all this internal work, it actually sped up the physical healing.
Massively. As mental health improved, inflammation levels dropped. Sleep got better because the mind wasn't racing constantly. Digestion improved as the nervous system calmed down.
No, the takeaway is undeniable.
Heal your mind, you heal your body. They're absolutely intertwined. This pillar carries just as much weight as nutrition.
Okay, that naturally leads us to pillar 3, sleep. Another critical 20–25% of the health square. And this is one we tend to dismiss, right? Like it's a luxury, something you catch up on later.
Yeah, that's the big misconception. The source material is really firm on this. Sleep isn't rest. It's not downtime. It is active repair. Full stop.
Active repair. Explain that.
Think of your body like that house again. All day long, you're living in it, using it, causing wear and tear. Sleep is the only time the highly specialized night crew comes in.
The repair crew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They repair damaged cells, they clean up metabolic waste, they restock supplies, they rebuild structures. If you cut sleep short, or the quality is bad.
You're basically telling the repair crew to go home before the job is done.
Precisely. Critical maintenance gets skipped, and if you skip it night after night, the house starts to fall apart. That's chronic disease developing.
And the specific jobs that crew does. It's a long list, isn't it? Things that only happen effectively during deep sleep.
It's incredible, really. During sleep, your body repairs damaged cells and builds new tissue. Your brain performs a deep clean, clearing out toxins and metabolic byproducts linked to things like Alzheimer's. That's the glymphatic system at work.
Hormones, too, right?
Crucially, sleep regulates insulin sensitivity. Just one bad night makes you more insulin resistant the next day. It resets cortisol. It releases growth hormone for repair. It balances leptin and ghrelin, the hormones that control hunger and fullness.
So poor sleep makes you hungrier and store fat more easily?
Yep. It also strengthens your immune system, lowers inflammation, and allows your heart and blood vessels to repair. If this stuff isn't happening, you simply cannot heal properly.
And the personal story described a classic case of sleep deprivation linked to illness.
Textbook insomnia. Mind racing, waking up every hour or two, never feeling rested, needing naps just to function.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. And that lack of quality sleep was directly fueling the insulin resistance and inflammation they were trying so hard to fix with diet. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket.
Yeah.
You pour good stuff in, but it just flows right out the bottom because the repair system is offline.
So the solution had to be aggressive, a really strict sleep protocol, because consistency here is rocket fuel for recovery.
Especially if you're dealing with chronic illness, sleep has to become your absolute #1 priority. Treat it like the most important medicine you take.
What did that strict protocol look like?
It hits several key areas. First, an ironclad, consistent schedule. Same bedtime, 10 p.m. in this case, every single night, weekends included. No exceptions. Your body craves that rhythm.
10 p.m. every night. That's tough for a lot of people. Shift workers, parents.
It is tough. The sources argue that for deep healing, especially initially, that structure is vital. If you absolutely must deviate, try to keep the wake-up time consistent. But that 10 p.m. target aligns best with natural hormone cycles for most people.
Okay, what else? Screens.
Big one. Screen curfew,
Ah.
2 hours before bed, zero blue light, phones, tablets, TVs off. Blue light kills melatonin production, the sleep hormone. Reading a physical book instead is way better.
And the bedroom environment.
Had to become a cave,
Hmm.
meaning pitch black, use blackout curtains if needed. Quiet earplugs, maybe.
Hmm.
And critically cool somewhere between 65 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 1820 Celsius. That temperature drop signals sleep.
And the rule about what the bedroom is for?
Only for sleep and intimacy. No work emails, no scrolling social media in bed. You want your brain to associate that room purely with rest.
Were there any supplements or routines involved?
Yes. Magnesium glycinate, 400 milligrams nightly. It's a common deficiency that impacts sleep. Also, 10 minutes of meditation or deep breathing right before climbing into bed, just to consciously shift out of stress mode and into rest and digest mode.
And eating late.
Big no-no. Stop eating at least 3 hours before bed. Digestion is an active process that interferes with deep sleep and repair.
Wow, that is strict. But the results?
Dramatic and fast. Within about a month of sticking to that religiously, they were sleeping 7-8 hours straight. Deep, restorative sleep.
And the knock-on effects.
Energy levels soared, brain fog vanished, mood stabilized, and importantly, all the other physical healing just accelerated because the body finally had its nightly repair window fully open.
Which brings us to the final pillar, rounding out the health square. Exercise. Again, carrying that significant 20-25% weight. And the core idea here is shifting how we think about it, right? It's not about looking good.
It's about biological necessity. It's an evolutionary imperative. Our bodies were designed through millions of years to move.
A lot.
We weren't built to sit at desks and in cars all day.
Absolutely not. We walked, we ran, we climbed, we carried things. This sedentary lifestyle we have now, it's only been around for, what, 50, maybe 100 years. It's a historical blip.
And it perfectly coincides with the explosion in chronic disease.
Exactly. So movement isn't punishment or vanity, it's medicine. Scientifically proven medicine that our bodies require to function properly.
Okay, so what specific medicine does movement provide? How does it help fight those root causes, insulin resistance and leaky gut?
Exercise is arguably the fastest way to tackle insulin resistance. When your muscles work, they need fuel glucose.
Right.
So they become incredibly efficient at pulling glucose directly out of your bloodstream, often without needing much insulin at all. They're like opening a side door for the sugar to get in. This immediately helps regulate blood sugar.
That's huge for metabolic health. What about inflammation?
Movement is powerfully anti-inflammatory. It helps circulate lymph fluid, which clears out waste products. It reduces those inflammatory cytokines we talked about earlier.
And the benefits for the heart and brain. We hear about those a lot.
Yeah, it directly strengthens the cardiovascular system, improves blood flow, lowers blood pressure over time. And for the brain, it's amazing. Boosts cognitive function, clears brain fog, partly by increasing blood flow, but also,
It triggers production of helpful compounds. You mentioned BDNF.
yes, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it like Miracle-Gro for your brain cells.
Okay.
It encourages the growth of new neurons, helps existing ones survive, strengthens connections, basically makes your brain work better. Crucial for memory, learning, and lifting that mental fog often tied to chronic illness. And exercise is a prime way to boost BDNF.
Now, the big hurdle for many people starting this, especially if they're already sick, is that movement feels, well, impossible. Like the story after the heart attack. Weak, pain, dizziness.
That's the harsh reality. When you're deep in chronic illness, sometimes just walking to the bathroom feels like climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
The instinct is to rest, to wait until you feel stronger.
But the advice here is the opposite.
Completely. You have to reframe movement as essential medicine, especially when you feel weak. It's non-optional for healing. You just have to start where you are.
Which leads to that key principle. Consistency over intensity. Start impossibly small. Can you walk us through that 12-week progression again? How gradual was it?
It had to be incredibly gradual. Weeks 1 and 2 were literally just 5-minute walks. And the person noted, even that was exhausting initially, but they did it every day.
Then weeks 3 and 4.
Doubled it. 10-minute walks, but twice a day. Slowly building frequency and duration.
Weeks 5 and 6.
Up to 20-minute walks. Starting to build some endurance.
And it was around weeks 7 and 8 that things started to shift more noticeably.
Yeah. 30-minute walks became possible, and they added gentle stretching. Crucially, the better nutrition, sleep, and reduced inflammation meant the chronic joint pain was actually starting to ease. Movement started to feel less painful, more possible.
And that opened the door for actual strength work.
Exactly. Weeks 9 and 10 saw the introduction of light resistance. We're talking bodyweight squats, maybe push-ups against a wall, just waking up the muscles again.
And the final phase, weeks 11 and 12.
That's where momentum really built. Adding more resistance safely, walks getting longer, feeling genuinely stronger. The absolute key throughout was listen to your body, don't push into sharp pain,
Right.
but never stop. Do something every single day. Consistency is what rewires the body and the brain. It convinces them that movement is the new normal.
And the impact of adding exercise, even starting so small, it was described as the spark plug.
It really ignited the whole healing process. It accelerated everything else. The fastest drop in insulin resistance came with consistent movement. Blood pressure normalized quicker, cholesterol improved, the cardiovascular system got stronger, and that sustainable energy just flooded back.
So the final takeaway for exercise is maybe the most hopeful.
Absolutely. Start right where you are. Doesn't matter how unfit you feel. Forget the fancy gym memberships for now.
Do 5 minutes of walking.
Yes. Or do some chair squats. Or stretches in bed. Just start. And then commit. Absolutely commit to doing just a tiny bit more tomorrow. That's how you rebuild.
Okay, so we've got the 4 pillars: nutrition, mental health, sleep, exercise. Each one vital, each carrying about a quarter of the weight. But the real magic, the secret sauce of the health square, isn't just doing each thing. It's the amplification effect, right? When they all work together.
Exactly. This is where the exponential results kick in. It's the synergy. People often make the mistake of going all in on one pillar, like becoming a super marathon runner, but still eating junk and being stressed out.
Are eating perfectly but never moving or sleeping well.
Right. And the source material makes it clear. In this model, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 4. It equals like 10
Yeah.
or 20.
Mhm.
When you apply all 4 pillars simultaneously, even imperfectly, they multiply each other's benefits.
Can you trace that positive feedback loop for us? How does it create that upward spiral where healing goes from slow and hard to fast and almost inevitable?
Okay, let's follow it. You start with good nutrition. That immediately helps stabilize your blood sugar, reduces inflammation, starts healing the gut.
Okay.
A calmer gut and stable blood sugar lead directly to better sleep quality. Deeper, more restorative sleep.
Got it.
Waking up rested dramatically improves your mental health. Less anxiety, better mood, clearer thinking. Cortisol drops.
Which gives you.
The energy and motivation for exercise, you actually feel like moving,
And it's exercise then.
dramatically improves your insulin sensitivity,
Yeah.
making your body even better at using the good food you're eating. And it lowers inflammation further, which helps sleep. See the loop?
Yeah. It feeds itself. Each improvement makes the next one easier and more effective.
That's the upward spiral. That's when healing starts to accelerate and feels less like a constant battle. That's how that 90-day transformation becomes possible.
But the flip side is just as powerful, isn't it? The negative feedback loop. If you neglect just one pillar.
The whole square can collapse. It creates a downward spiral. Let's trace that one too. Say you have chronically poor sleep.
Okay, starting there.
Immediately, your hormones go haywire. Cortisol is high, ghrelin, the hunger hormone surges. You crave sugar and carbs like crazy.
Leading to bad nutrition.
Yep. Which spikes your blood sugar, causes inflammation, further disrupts hormones, making sleep even worse. The blood sugar swings and inflammation also tank your mental health. More anxiety, depression, brain fog.
And when you feel like that.
Exercise feels utterly impossible. You have zero energy or motivation. Lack of exercise then worsens insulin resistance and inflammation.
Which makes sleep even harder to achieve. You're trapped.
You're trapped in a downward spiral, fueled by neglecting just one essential part of the system.
So the big conclusion here is you can't cherry pick your way to health with this model.
No, you can't eat perfectly but ignore stress and sleep and expect miracles. You need the whole balanced square, that holistic, synergistic approach. That's the key. That's what delivers those fast, profound results that often elude conventional approaches. Hashtag Attractor.
So we come full circle back to that incredibly empowering idea that started this whole deep dive.
That 75% to 90% control.
Exactly. Based on the Health Square framework, you have the vast majority of control over your health destiny. You are not just a passive recipient of chronic illness.
The power is there and it's structured. Nutrition, 25-30% building your body. Mental health, 20-25% controlling your internal chemistry. Sleep, 20-25% the essential repair crew. And exercise, 20-25% the physiological spark plug.
And this is the framework that took someone from 15 years of sickness, 17 pills, failing organs, back to perfect health. in 90 days.
As proof of concept, it can be done.
Now, we know hearing the overview is one thing. You need the details, the protocols, the step-by-step how-to.
And that is exactly what's coming next in this series of deep dives. We're committed to breaking down each pillar completely.
So next up will be a dedicated session on the complete nutrition protocol. We're talking meal plans, guidance on fasting if appropriate, exactly how to heal leaky gut and reverse insulin resistance with food.
Then we'll tackle mental health mastery. Deeper dives into meditation, journaling techniques, handling trauma safely, building supportive relationships, finding that crucial sense of purpose.
After that, the sleep optimization system. The full protocol, dialing in your environment, supplements that help, specific techniques to overcome insomnia.
And finally, the exercise rebuilding program. How to progress safely from zero, specific exercises, sets, reps, building strength without injury.
Plus, we'll have more on the science insulin resistance explained, chronic inflammation, how to talk to your doctor about reducing meds safely. Lots more planned.
But which pillar do we tackle first, in exhaustive detail, next time?
That decision is up to you, our community. You get to vote.
That's right. We want you to tell us what you need most right now. Go down to the comments section and type in just one word: nutrition, mental, sleep, or exercise.
Whichever pillar gets the most votes, that's where we'll start our next super detailed deep dive. Your vote directs the content.
And while you're down there voting, please help us spread this message if you haven't already.
Hit subscribe. Ring that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Like this deep dive, seriously, it helps the algorithms show it to more people who need it.
And maybe share it. Just send the link to one person you know who's struggling with their health. It can make a huge difference for them.
Remember that final thought. 75 to 90% control is yours.
If this framework can create such a dramatic turnaround from such a difficult place in just 90 days, imagine what's possible for you. The potential for your own healing is immense.
The tools are here. The power really is in your hands.
Yes, you can heal. The Health Square provides the map.
But you got to take the first step. Go vote now. Let us know what you want next. We'll see you in the next deep dive to conquer that winning pillar. Let's heal together.